Hello there, and welcome to the Pit and Paddock Race Show with Dan and Rand for the first week of June.
We're going to start off with NASCAR in St. Louis at the Enjoy Illinois 300, which I don't think is possible. That is where Austin Cindric steals a win after Bell blows an engine and Blaney runs out of gas on the last lap.
That was a great ending. Engine failure and out of fuel. How does that happen?
I was like, just nonstop right there at the end of that race. So we start off, before the race even starts, Fox is missing the giant pyro explosions on the backstretch. Did you see pictures of that?
No, because
they go by on the pace lap. Giant explosions, and it's awesome. Everyone likes explosions. Yeah. Fox doesn't show it on TV. Which also, thank you to Fox for putting the race on cable, and instead on Network Fox we had pickleball.
Oh, pickleball is going to be good for like 8 more years until the Greatest Generation dies out.
I've never played it.
Wait, it was really called the Enjoy Illinois 300?
Yeah.
That's what they came up with?
You got to remind people that live there to enjoy Illinois.
What is there to enjoy in Illinois? The stock market?
Nah,
don't they have a stock market there? They might have a museum.
I've had some pizza. That was Chicago.
Oh yeah, Chicago pizza's good. Okay, all right. Let's call it the Enjoy Chicago Pizza Illinois 300.
Race started off a bit slow. Christopher Bell got by McDowell towards the end of the stage to take that one.
Yeah, I was thinking it was just going to be the Bell McDowell show all day long. That's what it looked like.
That's what it did look like. Kyle Busch took less tires and started P1 for stage 2, and Christopher Bell once again promptly drove through the traffic and took the lead.
Tires were important?
Not for Christopher Bell. I don't think it really mattered for Bell. He could have done anything.
What did Busch say when he was getting in the fight last week? We both suck. Was that his?
Yeah, we both suck.
The Bushes used to not suck a lot, and then I don't know what happened. Now they can't do anything.
It's not a good year for Kyle. Once Bell took over, he promptly led the entire stage, and I thought we were in for quite a snooze fest. Until, that is, about, 30 laps to go in the race. When Bell is trying to overtake Blaney, they're battling pretty nicely for 10 or 15 laps side by side.
That was a good battle.
It was good to see there at that flat track. And then Bell blew an engine, so he dropped back. I'm like, well, Blaney's going to run away with this one. The Enjoy Illinois 299 would have been a victory for Blaney.
How do you miss it by one lap? Don't they do math? What team is Blaney on?
Penske.
Oh yeah.
See what he went heavy on that push to pass early.
Oh.
So he. And who was Truex? I saw him bumping Bell on the straightaways.
I missed that. He was helping him stay there.
Said he was down a cylinder, so on the straightaways he would just push him and helped him. I think he finished 7th. So it stayed in the points.
I saw Ty Gibbs got the Larson penalty for speeding in pit lane.
Oof.
Don't they have the pit limiter button in
No, NASCAR does not have. You have to judge it by the RPMs.
You have to actually drive the car?
Yeah. So, pretty much, Blaney's team threw it away, and Austin Cindric stuck in there and stole it right at the end.
He's like the Scott Dixon of NASCAR.
Man, the two best cars just ruined their race, and he's like, all right. And, I was once again absolutely shocked that the Goodyear tires have 0 fall off for an entire fuel run. They got to do something with those.
They should use the IndyCar tires. Those had more fall off than electric car sales.
The whole 2 laps, and then they were shot. So that was a pretty much more entertaining race than I thought it would be at the beginning.
Better than Monaco?
Everything's better than Monaco. In Xfinity news, which is always very exciting, SVG got his first Xfinity win, and then he proceeded to drift the entire length of the track in celebration.
I can't blame him for that.
It's pretty awesome to see. And then my just now invented move of the race was the number 2 pit crew guy, who apparently his driver got into an accident and bent the hood up. So he pulls into the pits, and the driver and you just see a man belly flopping from out of the screen onto the hood to knock it back down.
Did it work?
It worked enough, I guess.
Yeah.
But that was a good video to see.
My man Gilligan led lap 54. And then he promptly went back to his proper station mid-pack. I think he was around 15th. You know, the typical. But you know what? He had the Rude Bush logo on his car, which most drivers agree with. I have no idea what Rude Bush is.
I thought it was a dig at Kyle.
Yeah, that's what I thought. But it's spelled weird, so I don't know. It's probably some drug company.
You know, I feel like his proper station has shifted from like 22nd to 15th throughout the first half of the season, so that seems kind of good, like an improvement.
Yeah.
Paint schemes this weekend. I think my favorite was Austin Cindric won in it, the Freightliner, because it looks like it's from Tron.
It did kind of look Tron-ish, didn't it? Which, if you go back and watch the original Tron, you can understand how awful computer graphics were back in the 80s and 90s.
Oh, yeah. I remember that movie.
I thought all the paint schemes were kind of boring, so I'm going to go with number 37 Hemrick in the Poppy Bank car, because I'm not sure what sort of bank that is, but sounds better than a money bank.
It sounds like something the CIA started to launder drug money.
Oh, it's from Afghanistan. The Poppy Bank.
I thought it was kind of funny that Haas had 3 cars sponsored by Overstock.com, the liquidation company.
Since they're bowing out of
yeah.
NASCAR. Yeah, next week they'll be sponsored by the 99-cent stores. You know what? I thought it's appropriate that a guy named Bubba drives the McDonald's car. That just seems to work.
I like Ricky Stenhouse's 47. I don't know what Oikos is, but they really use the entire side of the car to tell me about it.
It fills up the entire all the side panels.
Just the whole car.
I noticed that Bush had the word Rebel painted on his car, which I didn't think was allowed in today's NASCAR.
Ooh, I'm surprised.
And then I noticed Suarez. What is
Suarez.
He had choice privilege on the hood of his car, which, can you explain what that is?
Is it different than white privilege?
I think it is, because he's Suarez.
Oh, okay.
Unless his mom was it had to be his dad. It's not hyphenated. It's not like, Richardson / Suarez, so it must be his dad.
All right. Well, coming up next week, NASCAR is going to the road course at Sonoma, California for the Toyota Save Mart 350, which is kilometers. That's
it's California.
219 miles.
The People's Republic of California.
Oh, yeah.
They do kilometers over there.
I like that track.
Is that the one we fell asleep at watching IndyCar?
That's the one.
Right after the reunification?
Yeah.
Where we didn't realize it was going to be that hot and we had no sunblock and...
Oops.
Oh, but what Andretti did have the animated Clone Wars livery on his IndyCar.
Was that when he drove that?
Yeah.
Oh, I wish I...
Yeah, we saw it down in the pits. All right, on to IndyCar and the Detroit Grand Prix, where they had more crashes than the Michigan economy. Scott Dixon pulled off another Danica Patrick win by saving fuel and skipping the last pit stop. Ericsson made his way to second, and Armstrong found himself in third.
I thought that it was great. They were all running Honda engines at Chevy's Crown Jewel event. The GM president had to enjoy that.
He waved the flag and everything for the race.
I wish they would have had a camera on him at the end, like podium. What if he had to hand out the award?
Oh,
that would have been.
They didn't show the podium. Yeah. It would be bad enough if Honda won it, but Honda was 1, 2, 3 at the Chevy race. that had to hurt. But you know what? It was Herta's race to lose, and he did lose it fairly well. Started on pole, led every lap until a micro rain in the pits brought him in. His team brought him in for wets and promptly lost him 10 positions. Oh. Then he got anxious and put himself into a runoff to lose another 10 positions and go a lap down. Good job, Herta.
Once Graham retires, Herta's definitely taking up the unlucky moniker from him.
Herta, what's his first name? Colton. Colton the Unlucky?
Yeah, that's what we're going to go with.
Yeah, it doesn't roll as well as Graham the Unlucky, but,
Oh, it will.
He can grow into it. Rahal did manage to get up from pretty much last place to 15th after the first lap carnage, and then he managed to just hang around 15th all day long.
Oh, he can be good friends with Gilligan in his 15th place. I don't know. They should rename this the Crash GP. There were 8 cautions for 47 out of 100 laps. Is that? Yeah, 47.
That's almost half the race. Yeah, it all started on lap 1. I think it was 6 cars crashed at the hairpin.
Everything happened at the hairpin.
The hairpin is emblematic of the Detroit economy.
That's probably better than the Detroit economy. I thought I was watching NASCAR.
Yeah, it did feel like NASCAR. It had the season's longest caution after the micro rain, I don't know why they had the super long caution, and half the field was able to stay out instead of coming in to get wets, because then as the caution's going, they realize, oh wait, it's not really raining. I'll just stay out, and they all gained 10 spots.
Yeah, it would have been a nice gamble there. IndyCar just sat there for 10 laps with no one's on track. What's going on? Like, the other half got wet for 2 laps and then went right back to slip because the rain stopped.
I heard the caution took so long because race control was negotiating the restart with the United Auto Workers Union.
Oh, I'm surprised the race got restarted then. I mean, it was so long, the safety car had to get refueled in the middle of the race.
I thought that was a joke at first, but then I went back and I'm like, nope, they actually had to refuel the safety car.
Well, they actually did.
When you run half the race. Well, Santino Ferrucci celebrated Pride Month by clashing with Kirkwood and Herta in practice, then calling Herta Kirkwood's little boyfriend.
Santucci. He then went on to crash into Power and Castroneves. I think he's trying to make enemies of every single driver.
It was actually Porkchop who crashed into Castroneves. Ferrucci just got blamed for it.
Well, Ferrucci's going to end up getting blamed for everything. I hope Foyt keeps him, though, because 90% of anything interesting in practice is because of Ferrucci.
You have to say it like... who was the NASCAR commentator during COVID when the only races were E-races? One of the guys would always yell, I love that name, Santino Ferrucci. I forget. He was one of the former drivers commentating during the pandemic.
It does have a fun name.
I know. Well, everyone pretty much got a penalty, so we're just going to hit the top 3. Number 3, Will Power, for getting 4 different penalties in a single race.
Very impressive. I think he's trying out for Haas seat next year.
Number 2, Lundgaard for hitting Grosjeans, but only because Grosjean started crying afterwards that he didn't want to race anymore. Oh, and his season was over.
That was so... we're out of the championship. I'm just going to park the car.
Yeah.
All right, Pouty Poopy.
Okay.
Jeez.
Come on. We got a sippy cup for you when the race is over.
God. Number 1 is Newgarden for leaving his pit stall with the gun hose stuck under his car and nearly removing the feet of the RHL crew.
That guy just jumped out of the way.
He was so close to
oh yeah,
like inches from those 2 guys' feet being removed.
Yeah, I mean, because he hit the end of the hose and it turned his car and wham, almost took off their. I thought for sure they were gonna have broken ankles or something.
I don't want to see that on the close-up replay.
Overall, it was not a good day for Cheater.com, also known as Team Penske. 2 other drivers finished 20th and 24th. And somehow Will Power managed to get his way up to 6th after 4 penalties. That's how crazy the race was.
Kind of impressive. Impressive run. The chaos did keep the race interesting, at least until Scott Dixon just needed to save some fuel to win.
Yeah, it was. And then it just kind of slowed down, and it was like watching the end of a Formula One race with Verstappen in the lead.
I don't know. It was... And the alternate tires were worthless. What were they going off like after 2 laps? Even in the wet. I don't know.
That's what I'm saying. They should have mandated those for NASCAR. After, midway through the stage, everybody takes on the Firestones.
That's the only tire. You get these tires that last 4 laps. That'll make it interesting.
There were a lot of desperation passes. The one I liked was Lundgaard's lap 6 pass on Dixon, because it was like the first few laps when Lundgaard's alternate tires worked and Dixon was on the mediums. And I'm going to now call him Lungeguard.
I like that one. That one's going to stick. Lungeguard.
Later that day, after the race, Pourchaire is that how you say it? Pork chop.
Teddy Pork Chops?
Yeah, is it Pourchaire?
Pourchaire.
Pourchaire?
Some Frenchness.
All right. Anyway, Pourchaire was given death threats by Canapino's fans because of their clash at the hairpin.
Someone needs to remind these Argentina fans that this isn't soccer.
Yeah. We don't kill people for... the only own goal in the race was Herta's team calling him in for wet tires.
Was it own goal?
How do you screw it up that bad?
Did they?
Are you okay out there, Herta? Or do you think we should... No, just come in, because there's some rain in the pit lane.
Herta should have made the call. He should have stayed out and just overruled him.
You know what? If they would have had Carlos Sainz in that car, he would have stayed out.
I think... The Canapino fans went after someone. Did they go after Callum Ilott last year after an accident, too?
Yeah, I think so.
Those guys are pretty serious about things.
They're brutal.
Well,
I did like the dual pit lane, though.
I think that's a great idea for places that don't have a lot of space. Plus, you get a much better view. You know, if you got like a pit lane seat, you can see a lot more pit stops.
Could Monaco do that? Nah, they still don't have enough room.
They don't have room for anything there.
Oh, well.
I saw that they replaced Tom Blomqvist with Helio Castroneves, and Helio promptly finished 25th. So can we just give the seat to Connor Daly, please? At least he's fun to watch.
I did read about why they took him out of the seat. Helio owns part of the team. And I couldn't get a good answer. It was just like a really nice way of saying, yeah, he's kind of sucking lately, and we're going to sit him for a while. He's just not going to start.
It kind of went from, like, we're going to sit him for 2 races to, well, he's out for the season now. Like, just, because he runs their IMSA team. Blomqvist is their IMSA driver last year. So I think they're going to shift him back over there.
Ooh, that's like getting sent back down to the minor leagues.
Yeah, it is.
No, the minor leagues would be the Indy Lights series.
Oh, yeah. What is it now? NXT.
Yeah.
That's such a hip, cool name for it. I want to know what we're doing in downtown Detroit. I mean, street circuits are supposed to have, like, these great city views with skylines and parks and stuff. And instead you get Detroit and the ugly GM building. The track is too narrow, and it's surrounded by, looks like empty parking lots and abandoned buildings and parking structures. It just doesn't look good.
It did look like they were racing in a tunnel about half the time.
That concrete, really narrow tunnel.
Yeah.
It's kind of terrible.
It's an accurate representation of Detroit.
Well, what's Bell Island doing next year? Or better yet, Michigan Speedway.
Has there been an open-wheel car on Michigan Speedway since the ill-fated 500 of the 90s?
IndyCar race there up until, like, I want to say 2013 or 2011.
Wait, the
IRL?
Tony George IndyCar?
Yeah, or even after the merger, they did it for two or three years.
Wait, is that where Greg Moore got killed, or was that Fontana?
Fontana.
Kentucky.
That's gone.
I went to a race in Fontana. It's a big track. Well, it was a big track.
I went to the last NASCAR race there.
Maybe if Honda keeps winning this race, GM will decide to move it somewhere else.
I can only hope. Like, yeah, hey, Chevy guy.
Yeah, you know what? Belle Isle just had more room. It wasn't so tight. Seems like half the track was wide enough to do stuff, and then the other half was about wide enough for 1.5 cars.
I'd still say super speedway.
Yeah.
Just because we don't have any of those on the schedule.
They need a super speedway other than Indy. I would like to see him at Daytona. Pocono. Pocono would be my because I like the triangle. All right, rating on the race. What did you think of this one? Out of 10.
I'm gonna go first half of the race, 7 out of 10. Chaotic, a bit of a disaster, but still interesting to watch. And then once Dixon took over and had to save fuel, it's gonna drop to a 2 out of 10, if that's allowed.
I gave it 8 out of 10 just for all the crashes and seeing Newgarden finish near the bottom.
Yeah, that's pretty nice too. Do we have any liveries? Did you have any liveries in IndyCar?
I thought Armstrong was sponsored by I Am Groot for a while, but it turned out to say Goot or Root. I don't know. You can't really read anything. They need the shark fin tails like some of the Formula 1 cars used to have, so you can get a big number on there or advertisement or something.
I was trying to find an interesting livery, but then I realized I only recognize like 9 out of 26 of the companies that actually sponsor the cars, and I have no idea what the rest of them actually are or what they do.
I noticed Stingray had Pray.com on the back of his car, which he forgot to do again because he crashed into the runoff area.
Poor Stingray.
All right, next up, this weekend, the Expel Grand Prix at Road America. I like Road America.
That's a cool track.
Elkhart Lake in Wisconsin. That's the one where deer will sometimes run across the track, right?
Yeah, I hope they don't.
There's a lot of trees there. Elkhart Lake in Wisconsin, 55 laps, 220 miles. Is it actually on broadcast NBC this time?
Actually on broadcast.
Huh. What is Expel? What is Expel? Sounds like a laxative.
I hope so. No, I hope not.
Well, in Formula One news, Perez is going to stay with Red Bull for another 2 years.
All right, we're getting this driver lineup narrowed down pretty quickly here. They do know a good lackey when they see one, I guess.
Oh yeah, he's like Massa quality lackey.
He's just happy to hang around.
Yeah,
and sneak a win in every once a year, maybe.
They're still talking about Verstappen's not signed and he might go somewhere else, but I don't know. I just don't see where else would he want to go besides Red Bull.
I don't know. There's nothing open that's going to be competitive like that.
I mean, Mercedes might be competitive in the next Formula 2 years from now.
It would make more sense for him to sign another 1 or 2 year deal with Red Bull.
Yeah, you would want to be with a factory company, which Red Bull's almost a factory company. They make their own chassis now, don't they?
Yeah.
So, and they're gonna make their own engine, so they're gonna end up qualifying as a works team. So yeah, just like I said, the only place he's got that's a works team, not counting Alpine, is Mercedes. But I don't know. It feels like there's a lot of because the Mercedes guys were trying to bring him in. Remember, Toto Wolff kept talks about how great Max is all the time. Yeah.
We know for sure that Ocon will be out of Alpine after next season.
Shocking.
The Euros are going to put him in a seat at Haas, it looks like.
Yeah, I see a bright future for Ocon in sports cars. Alpine's also talking to Flavio Briatore. I love that guy.
Oh, man.
Bringing him back as some sort of advisor. There's nobody really knows what. I've heard a lot of talk about he's either going to bring in investors or bring in a big buyer like a Chinese company or Andretti.
As long as he's doing interviews and or talking on the radio often, I'm all for it.
Yeah.
What's up next in Formula One? The Canada. That's right.
Just Canada.
The AWS Grand Prix du Canada at Circuit Gilles Villeneuve in Montreal. That's why it's du Canada.
Oh, of Canada?
Yes, because it's in Montreal. We're going to go 190 miles and 70 laps there. It's going to be on F1 TV and probably some random ESPN channel. No one cares. F1 TV's better. We'll use that one.
2.7 miles?
2.7 mile track? Yes.
That's big. Wait, the Spa's that big?
Spa's a bit more like 4 plus.
Is it closer to 4?
Yeah.
Old Spa's like 15, right?
Yeah.
It was like a 10-lap race.
I should try that once.
Yeah. Buzz has Red Bull doing poorly at this track because of the curbs and the bumpiness, but I don't know. I've seen too much Red Bull dominance the past few years to buy into that.
At least you can pass here.
Yes, that's true.
Mm.
It is kind of a big jump going from Monaco to Canada. Can you call it the Blame Canada Grand Prix?
Probably.
Was that... What was Blame Canada in?
Was it South Park
South
song?
Park? Blame Canada. I like when Ryan Gosling did his whole thing on don't make Canada your safe space. When Trump won the election and all the people saying if Trump wins the second time they're moving to Canada. And he's like, don't make Canada your... We barely like Canadians in here. In other racing, World Rally was in Sardinia, which is cool because I think they followed the path of General Patton's Italian World Tour.
They should actually do it in the equipment they used. That would be fun.
Tanks. World Rally in tanks. And
It would be a little slow, I guess.
World Rally in Jeeps.
Oh, that kills generals. Be careful.
That's all I got for this week.
Yeah, me too. I didn't see much else.
Next week's going to be a lot better because we've got Formula One and NASCAR and IndyCar. Yeah, we got a three-peat.
Ooh, that's why I like the summer. Everyone's racing all the time.
Yeah, it'll be a good race.